But just thinking about the music, because I know you love music, and I think about even the music that's instrumental, like John Coltrane's Love Supreme,
Right.
and how important that was in communicating thoughts, feelings, ideas.
Yes.
Miles Davis. But also, I think about Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud,
Yes.
and what that meant
Right.
at that time. Do you remember?
Oh, yes, I do. And you know, the thing that I love is a quote from Rudolf Steiner. Steiner said that creativity is the window of the soul. And we express our innermost being when we are creative, when we are artistic. And that's a very essential thing. But I find it's not just when I'm creative. When I sit in a performance,
Yes.
I was just lucky enough this past Sunday, I was in Los Angeles with my daughter Kai, who's a dancer, and I was watching a performance of a group she's going to be performing with. And I sat there for 4 hours watching a rehearsal, and I was enthralled.
Yes. Yes.
Because there's something about, even if I'm witnessing somebody else's soul expression, it lifts me up.
Right.
And it reminds me that I have an inner being that needs expression. It gives me, it's almost like it gives my soul flight. It gives my soul wings to watch a performance. And live performance is extraordinary.
I believe that everyone should go to at least one live performance a week.
A week.
And I think it will.
That's a good therapy prescription.
It's a therapy. I think so.
Yes.
I think it will enlighten the spirit,
Yes.
feed the soul, give voice to our minds.
Right.
But what I also feel is that it also allows us to connect with each other, which is what you were saying on a human level.
Yes, that's a really good point.
Across race.
Yes, there is a lot of connecting that happens through the arts, whether it's visual art, performance art. I always feel I am connecting with something that is greater
than me.
greater than myself. And you know, there are a lot of people that believe that creative expression is actually, I know the ancient Greeks had this idea, and I know that many African tribes had the idea that the inspiration is coming from spirit.
Wow.
And so it is spirit expressing through us when we are artistic. You know, I alluded to my Power Choices book. The last
we'll talk
chapter
about.
of the book
Yes.
is called Innovation. And it's at the end of the journey. The soul has traveled this journey, sometimes dark and treacherous and dangerous.
Yes.
But when you get to the end of the journey, you've learned something.
Right.
You have something to say.
Yes.
And as an artist, that something to say comes out in your art form.
Now, in terms of your melding the two, a lot of the work that you do is around transformation.
Yes.
When you say transformation, what do you mean?
Everything I do is around transformation. Everything. And transformation means to become more conscious, more awake, more aware that I am not just a material being having a material existence, to become aware that I live in a world of interlocking energies, that everything in this world has an energetic presence, an energetic being, whether it's a plant or, of course, human beings, or even a stone. And that if I'm aware of myself in a deep way, then I'm more aware of you in a deep way. If I can feel and express my feelings, then I can be in tune with you and your feelings. And I firmly believe, Thomas, you know this, I firmly believe that this is the path of peace. That if we can learn to express ourselves fully, and the arts are one of the most beautiful ways to do it.
Yes.
When we're fully expressed, then we can be in tune with other people. And we have no need then to go into fear and fight one another, because it's only out of fear. Fear of scarcity, or fear that somehow you'll take mine, or you'll hurt me, or that you're different, therefore you'll hurt me. That people fight wars and get into the situations we have around the world.
But you also add another twist to that in terms of using love.
Yes.
As a means or a part of the transformation.
Well,
what does that mean?
It's both the means to transform. The more we're exposed to love. I actually opened my first book, Love Lessons, with this thought, and it's from the Course in Miracles. Love brings up anything unlike itself to be healed.
Now, you talked a few minutes ago about when we came out of slavery, and in your first book, you dealt a whole lot with that transition. and that we may still be dealing with some issues
Yes.
around that.
Yes.
Now, I have your book, Power Choices, up on the screen. Could you give us a synopsis of what Power Choices
Absolutely.
is?
Power Choices is actually the third book I've written, and it takes the work that I did in Love Lessons, the first book, and then What Mama, the second book, takes it to another level, because here I bring the 4 parts to our transformational journey together, and I break them into what I call signposts. The first signpost is investigation. Where am I? What's going on in my life? And if I'm not where I need to be so that I am in alignment with my innermost being, just as surely as we're sitting in this room, the universe is going to give us what I call an initiation. And sometimes that feels like a baptism of fire. Sometimes it's an illness. Sometimes it's an upset in a relationship. Sometimes it's financial upset. But always it's a signal it's time to grow. So we start out on the journey. We move through the initiation. Then I have to start looking at my intuition. I have to gain insight. I've got to do more growing. So I'm going to look for inspiration. And at the end of the journey, that's when I've come back with what I call the boon. Joseph Campbell talked about this on The Hero's Journey. The hero returns with the boon. Look what I've learned. Look at the light that I brought back. And then we offer that. We offer that. Often through artistic expression. We offer it.
Wonderful. Now, when you're working with your clients,
Yes.
do you use arts? And I'm thinking about arts. It can be meditation. It can be chanting.
Yes.
It can be a different form than we think of just being on stage. How do those fit into what you do in terms of transforming
Oh,
people?
thank you for asking, because that's probably the thing that I enjoy most in my work, is that I'm a holistic psychologist. So whether I'm doing a speaking engagement or a workshop or a retreat, and I lead retreats all over the world. I lead retreats here in the Bay Area. I always give people tools for expression. And one of my favorite tools, of course, we do physical, emotional, mental, spiritual work. So we take all 4 quadrants and we weave them together. And that's what I mean when I say holistic. But one of the things I love to do is teach people to chant. One chant I use a lot is, I am worthy, and I am deserving, and I love me unconditionally. Now, if I feel that way about myself, and I can hold myself as worthy and deserving, and that I love myself unconditionally, it makes it much easier to look at you and see that you are worthy, you are deserving, and then I can love you unconditionally. And that's really the end point. That's all we're here for. We're here to learn how to love. And when I talk about transformation or consciousness or holistic, all I'm talking about is increasing your capacity to give and to receive love. That's what we're all here to learn.
That's wonderful. I cannot believe it, but our time is just about up. We have less than a minute. I want to, first of all, thank you for taking your time to come share your thoughts, your ideas, your knowledge with us today. It's been a real treat.
It's been a pleasure.
I'm hoping that it will be the first of several times that we can allow this to happen.
I would be honored, Thomas. Thank you so much for having me.
The honor is mine. So if you'd like to get in touch with Dr. Wade, you can go on the website, see her website at docwade.com. Please do. Thank you very much for joining us this evening.